guys, we're out here. Well, I'm not really doing anything right now, but Erin is out here putting up the fencing for our pasture. And just gonna walk you through how we're doing that, some of the tips and tricks he's picked up along the way. I'm gonna go through all of that. And he is busy getting the first run done. How big is this going to be?
I'm not really sure how big it's going to be. We bought 500. When we measured it out, it was like 475 feet of fence.
Okay.
So if you're talking about square footage, I don't know.
I'll do the math. Okay. But it's not like a quarter acre, or you don't know any of that. Our land, we bought it completely raw. We had to put in a home site, put in water well, septic, house. We ended up pulling in a mobile home. And because we bought it raw, we got it cheaper. There was no dwellings here. There was no fencing. There was no outbuildings. Nothing that would improve the value of the land. What we got is what we got. We just got a raw piece of land. So that being said, there's pros and cons to that. Cons is now we've got to set up all of our outbuilding. We've got to get the well drilled. We've got to bring in power. We have to put up fencing and barns and put in garden spots and greenhouses and sheds. All of those things that go into having a homestead. But the pro to that is we get to do all of that. So we get to decide, what do we want? How big of a barn do we want? How big of a pastured area do we actually really need? And for me, I would much rather take something and work with what's there than try to come up with something from scratch. But that's where we're at. So it's been a learning curve. It's been exciting. And it's been interesting, to say the least. Yeah, so we're putting up the fence. We've got the barn done, and the fencing's got to go up. We are taking extra precaution because, yeah, these are goats, and they're notorious for getting out. So we're doing everything we can to make sure they stay in, and they live happily ever after with our chickens. And who knows what else will go in this area, if we're being completely honest. This is our front gate, our driveway. And so we're just going off of this fence. This is where we're starting. So what kind of fencing is this? Explain what you, because I can't explain it as well as you do.
This is just a red brand welded wire fence. They make a couple different ones. They really make one for goats, which is what this is going to be for. And the wire is a little more, it's actually not locked together like this is locked together. So the joints don't move. Some of the other red brand, it moves and flexes so they can't. When they push on it, it gives a little bit. Since we're going to put chickens in here, we wanted a little bit smaller wire so the chickens could not get through. So this is 4-foot wire. Again, I think this is just regular welded wire fence. 48 inches. Our T-posts are 5.5 foot. So the 48-inch mark's somewhere in here. Your fence needs to go on wherever your animals are going to be. Your fence, so the animals are going to be inside here. Mm-hmm. So I want to lay my fence on this half of the post. So if you put your fence on the outside, and when they go to push up on it and lean, they're pushing up on the pressure of the clips. That's the only thing, or the nails. That's the only thing that's going to be. So if you put your fence on the inside and they lean on it, they have the whole fence is keeping the pressure against the whole fence. So it makes your fence a lot stronger. So when you're setting it up, your T-posts need to be whatever way it's going. So you need to keep that in mind when you're laying out your fence, that your fence needs to be on the inside if you want it to be strong. It's okay if you put it on the outside, but the stronger the fence is if it's on the inside.
Okay.
They recommend that you put the T-post every 8 to 12 feet. So I went with 8 feet.
Because that's how we roll.
I also put my wooden round posts. They're 3.5 to 4 inches is what they are by 6.5 foot. Mm-hmm. I put those every 50 feet. That way when I pull my fence tight, these are just going to get metal clips that go around them and hook the fence, but every 50 feet there will be a wooden post and it'll be nailed to keep it from stretching and flexing. So that's what we're doing.
Thanks for explaining that.
No problem.
Back to work. So here's what he's got up so far. He's measured out the T-post. He used a stringer so he can get it nice and straight and evenly. And here's that post he was referring to. Made it a pretty good way. All this will be fenced in to their little area. This is called working with what you've got. We're using a ratchet strap and a tow strap to stretch the fence and try to get it nice and taut, and then he'll be able to attach it to the post. Whoa. Yep, it did it.
What happened? It broke?
No. So now you can see it got it nice and tight, and it brought it right up to where we need it to be. Hooked it around. We've got the fence stretched out on this upper part that hooks to the gate. And we've got to come around and attach these wire clips, and they are a pain. Do yourself a favor and buy the little tool that helps it easily attach it. We're using pliers and trying to twist it on, and it's not that easy, but it's coming along.
The welded wire, and that's what I was saying earlier. So this fence has no give in it, or the other red brand, the wire's locked together, so it has a little more flex to it, because we have a little bit of zigzag going through the property. Thank you, honey. But it came down just fine.
Yeah.
Good. Give me that.
So it happens when you live in the mountains. Things aren't flat. Progress on our fence project. This part was a little tricky. It dips down and then it comes back up. So that's why the fence is kind of crooked here, but we were able to get it.
Holy cow.
Tip of the day. Get you a fence stretch. Got himself a tow strap and a ratchet strap hooked to the side-by-side. It works. Okay. So right now he's bracing the fence. And this is something that should really be done in the corners when you're doing the fence, correct?
Yes. So we're going to pull the fence tight. This post wants to pull in, so we're going to put a post here. And put a post here, and that way it keeps it strong, so your fence can't
but still no.
pull, and it keeps it tight.
Okay.
This is kind of a short sleeve.
So this is not how it's supposed to look. We were just using what we had on hand. We ran out of materials. Normally you would use the post that's there, but you would just cut it to fit your gap. This is how it's supposed to look. All right, I just want to give you a basic rundown of kind of the step-by-step, the steps we took to get this fence up. First thing we did, cleared a path around the perimeter. That way he could get in and out and be able to obviously put fencing up where there's no trees and shrubs. Step 2 was to put this stringer up. That basically just gives us a blueprint of where the fence is going to go, keeps things straight, nice and neat. All about that around here. Next, he's going to space out the wooden posts. Those are going to go every 50 feet, and what those do is just support the fence, keeps the fencing tight because the fence will be nailed to those posts. In between those posts, he's going to add T-posts, which just help hold the fence up and keep it a little more stable. The T-posts are going to go every 6 feet. After he's got the T-posts in, then he can go stretch the fence out and get that nice and tight, attach it to the wooden post, and attach it to the T-posts along the way. So I hope that kind of sums up and gives you an idea of just a basic step-by-step guide to putting up a fence. There they go.